If I start going on a random tangent, start making no sense in this video, then I do apologise, because the Game 2 teams for State of Origin 2023 are officially out, and while the Queensland team is still so boring because they somehow seem to quote-unquote get Origin, the New South Wales team has left me with more questions than a kid at Jurassic Park, because I just think Freddy, and to an extension the New South Wales camp, Brandy Alexander, all those boys, I don't think they have a clue in what they're trying to build and what they're trying to do. We've seen it countless times since 2018, since they took over, and this Game 2 side could be Freddy's final straw, because this could be the team that gets him sacked. We've all said it before the series started. Brad Fittler, he was playing for his job in this series, and well, it could all be over next Wednesday night. We're about to get into the teams, but ladies and gentlemen, before you do anything, smash that like button if you enjoy the video. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any footy content coming your way for the remainder of 2023, and leave a comment down below. What changes would you make to both State of Origin Game 2 sides? And let's get straight into it. Now, I do not want to sit here and just bag Freddy Fittler, because as a New South Wales Blues or Queensland Maroons coach, you don't have the stress of a 24/7 job, but it might be the hardest job in the NRL. I mean, you've only got 3 games to prove yourself. You have to pick a team that's never played together before. And look, the 2015 Cowboys is one example. They started 0-3. They lose 3 games, you're being swept in an Origin series, and they went on to be the best team in the competition. So even a team like that, they need time to gel, whereas you have these Origin sides you have to put together, and most of them have never played together before. But this leads me to my first point about Freddy, and look, that man has forgotten more about rugby league than this little ranger will ever know. But Nicho Hynes was in the squad for Game 3 2021, and I know Mitchell Moses was the starting halfback, but then all 3 games of 2022, he was in the squad. And Game 1 of 2023, Nicho Hynes was once again, believe it or not, in the squad, while Mitchell Moses was still running around with the Parramatta Eels trying to win their first comp since the dinosaurs roamed the earth. As we saw just in Game 1 with Latrell Mitchell, injuries can happen. So I bet you Nicho Hynes spent a lot of time preparing himself to go into the halfback jersey for Nathan Cleary for 5 Origin camps now. Alright, so he's been there for 5 camps. This is the 6th one. Nathan Cleary has finally gone down. Let's throw Nicho Hynes in there. He's been training with this side for multiple camps now. He's been in training with Jerome Luai for multiple camps now. Let's chuck him in there. You're going to pick Mitchell Moses, who hasn't been there since 2021. He hasn't even played or done a camp with Jerome Luai yet, because he was also injured in that game last year when Cameron Munster got COVID. Billy Slater could have gone Ben Hunt. He could have brought in a Sam Walker. He could have done whatever. But he stuck with Tom Dearden, the guy who was his 18th man for his first 2 Origin games. He put him in the deep end, and you know what? Tommy Dearden played a key part in why Queensland won that greatest decider of all time in Game 3 last year. Brad Fittler didn't want to go down the same train of thought. He hasn't picked the Dally M winner. He's picked Mitchell Moses. Hate thing, because look, it's great for Manly this weekend, just quietly, that both Moses and Brown are going to be out. Instead of missing that one tackle, really that crucial. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't pick Hudson Young, and you'd put in a better player, at least in my opinion, in an Olkoatu, or put Kolomatangi in the starting lineup. I don't know what's going on with Freddy, like TPJ. We picked TPJ knowing he had an error in him, and he makes the error and you sack him after 7 minutes. Billy Slater didn't change a thing between Game 2 and Game 3, even though they got pumped, because he believes in these guys. Freddy just seems to cut anyone at any given time. Now, after 2018, I thought this was the man, and in Game 2 of 2019, when we made so many changes and then went to Perth and Turbo had a hat-trick and we absolutely pumped the Maroons, we were all like, all right, this is our guy. He's got the guts to make the decisions. And I don't know if Freddy still thinks he has a pass for doing that, but every other time he's done it, he has failed every step of the way. The 2020 series, no one else could lose that. Queensland would never lose that. They didn't for 8 bloody years. It took Cooper Cronk dying in DCE to bloody go chasing a Trent Hodgkinson dummy half pass for us to finally win a series. Full credit to Mel Meninga for taking them to 8 in a row, but you could have chucked fucking me in there. And I would have tried to make them lose, and with Cameron Smith, Billy Slater, Cooper Cronk, Jonathan Thurston, I probably still would have won 8 in a row. Mitchell Pearce would have been losing every single year. Even if we lost 2020, I could forgive it. Even we lost last year, I can forgive that one more than 2020. But it's the circumstances around it. He dropped Jack Whiten, and Stephen Crichton in Game 2 was alright, but he didn't set the world on fire. I thought Game 1 of this series was his best. And now you got Turbo, you got Latrell, and Crichton was in the team for the first place. So I get in that situation. But I just don't know what's going on. David Klemmer, no one talks about him for Origin anymore. We've picked Stefano, and David Klemmer is the best forward on that Tigers team. He hasn't retired from rep football. Freddy just dropped him because in Game 1 of 2019, he was our best player, and in Game 3 of 2019, he was upset that he didn't get picked. Like, of course he's going to be upset he didn't get picked. Now, look, I don't know what was going on. Maybe he was being a dick to Freddy, but Latrell Mitchell apparently doesn't like Freddy either. You dropped him and brought him back. You picked Stefano, and at least Stefano's been in the squad the first few games. Where has Mitchell Moses been since 2021? You've had Nico Hines, they're grooming him for this exact situation. You picked Daniel Tupou last year for no reason outside of people seeing that he was a Roosters player. Josh Adokar was even that bad, he's a winger. He's a winger. If his team's struggling, we're really going to blame the winger who at the time still was third in tries with him and Matty Burton. In Game 2, you picked Matty Burton, and I know that combination with Toto, but you had the Fox there. Everyone talks about how important he was, and this year, when there is an out-and-out star in Campbell Graham there, because you probably have to pick Turbo and Latrell because they're our best two players, and even with the rant I'm going on with those two, I think we can win this series. But when Fox has coming off an injury, having probably a worse year because the Bulldogs aren't doing any better, you pick him over Campbell Graham? Like, what is going on? What? I get it. Don't drop Tedesco. Everyone was crying. I even said, don't drop Tedesco. And that was when I was crying coming off the loss. Jerome Luai, I'm glad they stuck with Jerome Luai, and I've got some thoughts about Luai I'd like to make a video on because, spoiler alert, I think he's our guy now. Junior Barlow and Payne Haas in the front row makes sense. Without Jake, it has to be those two. They're the best forwards for our state. But Pangai Jr., what else did you want him to do? He was all right for the first 20 minutes. We just got ambushed. We lost possession by giving away stupid penalties from the guy who you've still picked in Hudson Young. So you drop TPJ, but you keep Hudson Young despite Oracle Artu, who was in everyone's teams before Game 1. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I think he thinks he has a pass because of Game 2 2019, but the whole point, why I'm so angry, because the Game 1 camp, it doesn't matter now. Yeah, look, we've got the same back five. The forward pack's pretty close, I guess. But there were even reports, if you can call them reports, they were probably as fake as anything, that Cleary had a sore tooth and Hines was on standby. So Hines was that good to be on standby for Game 1, and what? Because he missed a tackle on Cameron Munster that, look, at least he's got working legs. You think Tom Travojevic was giving you to make that tackle? And I've been deep-throating Tom all season, defending him based on his stats, which are remarkable. But yeah, everyone can see the dude's on one leg. You think he's going to make the tackle? Even something as simple as Damien Cook. In my team, I had actually both Nico and Damien Cook on the bench in my team because I feel like we needed two hookers. But Cook can go 80 minutes, and if you take Appy out, what's the point? Unless Reece Robson's going to play in the middle. And look, shout out to Reece Robson. Last year, I would have been so excited to be going into the year. I thought he was my smoky for an Origin debut. But let's not try and copy Queensland if we didn't in Game 1. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Freddy. I don't know what's going on with that Blues panel. I'd love to sit in on one. Maybe sitting in on one and I just go, you know what, boys? You're a bunch of geniuses. This is so good. But looking at it from the outside, I've just got no confidence. This is Freddy's final chance. If we lose this one, I don't care what happens in Game 3. This was our chance to do what Queensland did to us. To our whole childhood. We were bitched by Queensland. They had Edgerton and Brenko Lee. Poor dudes, but fucking Talatau Cooler, who couldn't make a tackle on Tyson Gamble, just ran circles around Brenko Lee. Oh my God. They ruined my childhood, and this was our chance to get back at them with such a stacked side, and we did it in 2021. We beat them by 60 points, and we lost Game 3, and they only swept once, all 3 games in Queensland. I can forgive that. I don't think Moses was even that bad. But this was our chance, and Freddy, what are you doing? Explain it to me. Like I said, I still think we can win Game 2. Any of this makes sense. Like, just the whole Nico Hines thing, 5 camps, 6 camps, and you're just gonna drop him like that. Like, come on, Freddy. Pick whatever. And then don't get shitty on Channel 9. Matt Thompson's trying to do his job on Freddy in the 8th, and you're just sitting there like a crybaby, mate. Like I said, I love Freddy. I do. I think he's an absolute genius. But Billy Slater has just absolutely exposed you in the last 2 years. Fuck, I'm jealous of Billy Slater, man. The way he gets around those boys. It's like Ricky Stewart. I'd love for Ricky Stewart to coach the Blues. That's another problem. Who replaces Freddy? I don't even want to talk about that. We're meant to be talking Game 2 sides, and I've just been rambling on. So let's get into it. New South Wales at fullback, James Tedesco picks himself. Brian Toto, Latrell Mitchell, Tom Lewis, Josh Odeka all picked themselves. Personally, I'd like to see the Fox and Toto swap sides. I just think that Josh Odeka and Latrell Mitchell have proved what a legendary combination they are. And Latrell Mitchell can free up space for the Fox. Meanwhile, Tom is probably going to run, and hopefully Tommy can roam a bit more. Jerome Luai, he picks himself. The injury to Cody Walker, I think while he's probably been better in clubland than Jerome Luai, I think that you had to pick Luai. Mitchell Moses. Look, Mitchell Moses could prove me wrong. It's nothing against Mitchell Moses. It's more so against Freddy. If Mitchell Moses was in the Game 1 squad, then yeah. Junior Bolo, Payne Haas, they should have been the starting front row for Game 2. Damien Cook, great to see him back with now Appy. I still would have had Appy if he was fit, but I'm glad to see Cookie get a run. Hudson Young, I'm glad that Freddy in this case has stuck with his guy as much as I wouldn't have. And, you know, it's a bit unfair if he's going to keep Hudson Young and not Tavita Pengai Jr., but congrats to him. Tyson Frizzell. Frizzell was great in Game 1, but I do worry about him for all the criticism from Cleary and Tedesco getting Tommy the ball. I think we missed Cameron Murray on that right edge of that 2021 series. Cameron Murray was giving great service to Turbo. And, you know, Latrell and Turbo, they are our most important players. You got Isaiah Yeo at lock with Murray being injured. It seemed that he was never going to crack there, but Isaiah Yeo played well enough to keep the spot, in my opinion, for his last couple of games with Penrith. Stefano, can't wait to see him on debut. I would have gone with a Spencer Leniu. My smoky for the Origin 2 side was going to be Paseka, which I would have loved to actually talk about, but we've been talking for a while now. And I think he's eligible for Queensland anyway. I mean, New Zealand anyway, Pro Enzo Vids told me. So shout out to the GOAT. Go subscribe to him. Cameron Murray, Liam Martin on the bench again. Like, just start Liam Martin. Bring Hudson Young off the bench. Don't make him do the dirty work. Start Liam Martin. Reece Robson, yeah, do the two hookers thing. Why not? Stephen Crichton, Keon Kolomatangi in the reserves. Yeah, shout out. Queensland side. Reece Walsh, Xavier Coates comes in for Cobo, Valentine Holmes, the hammer, Murray Taulagi, yeah, Munster DCE, yeah, I'm not jealous at all from that. Tino, Ben Hunt, Lindsay Collins, Dave Fair, Jeremiah Nato, Paddy Carrigan rounds up the starting side, Harry Grant, Tommy Flegler, Ruben Cotter, and yeah, just bring in Mo Fodawaker, who's been arguably the best prop this season. So, for the first time in a while, I'd argue Queensland's got a better side on paper, arguably just from the halves alone. Those two boys just know how to get the job done as well. I tell you what, DCE, Munster is already up there as one of Queensland's best ever players. DCE is putting his name up for a statue outside of Suncorp. I think he's fourth most captain now. For him to do what he's done in this era as a captain, it's a testament. It's been dropped for him to be dropped as Manly captain for Jake for years, but after Paul Green, Billy Slater, Wayne Bennett, Kevy Walters, Des Hasler, Anthony Seabell, Trent Barrett, there must be a reason DCE is being captain. He's probably Manly's best ever player. I'm glad to see him finally getting his chance to prove it to you Queensland Dogs. But ladies and gentlemen, what are your thoughts on the game two teams? Have I been unfairly critical of Brad Fiedler in this video? I don't even remember what I said, so this is going to be a hoot to edit. Smash that like button if you enjoyed the video, guys. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're going to do our tipping video tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we're going to be talking about Daddy Luai. Friday Night Footy.